Right, let's have a chat about something that's absolutely fundamental to success, yet most of us struggle with it daily: discipline. You know that feeling when you've set yourself a goal, perhaps to wake up early, stick to a fitness routine, or finally tackle that project you've been putting off for months. And then, inevitably, you find yourself scrolling through your phone at midnight, skipping the gym, or binge-watching Netflix instead of doing the work that actually matters. Welcome to today's episode. I'm here to break down exactly how you can develop genuine, lasting discipline. Not the kind that relies on fleeting motivation or sheer willpower, but the sort that becomes second nature. Because here's the truth. Discipline isn't about being harsh with yourself or living like a monk. It's about creating systems and habits that make the right choices easier than the wrong ones.
Before we dive into the how-to, let's clear up what discipline actually means. Most people think discipline is about forcing yourself to do things you don't want to do. That's rubbish. Real discipline is about training yourself to want the right things, or at least to do them regardless of how you feel in the moment. Think of discipline like a muscle. When you first start going to the gym, lifting even light weights feels impossibly difficult. But as you consistently show up and put in the work, those same weights become manageable, then easy. Your muscle fibers adapt, grow stronger, and what once required enormous effort becomes routine. The same principle applies to mental discipline. Each time you choose to do something beneficial when you'd rather not, you're strengthening your discipline muscle. Each time you follow through on a commitment to yourself, you're building evidence that you're someone who keeps their word, even to themselves.
Here's where most people go wrong with discipline. They try to change everything at once. They decide they're going to wake up at 5 a.m., meditate for an hour, hit the gym, eat perfectly, work on their side project, read for an hour, and get 8 hours of sleep. All starting Monday, of course. This approach is brilliant for about 3 days. Then it crumbles spectacularly. Instead, start so small it feels almost silly. Want to develop a reading habit? Commit to reading 1 page per day. 1 page. Not a chapter, not 30 minutes, 1 page. Want to start exercising? Do 5 push-ups every morning. That's it. I know what you're thinking. How is 1 page going to make any difference? But here's the magic. You're not really trying to read more or get fitter initially. You're training your brain to trust that when you say you'll do something, you actually do it. You're building the habit of following through. Once 1 page becomes automatic, and it will, usually within a couple of weeks, you can naturally expand. But by then, the habit is established. The neural pathway is formed. You've become someone who reads daily, rather than someone trying to force themselves to read.
Goals are brilliant for setting direction, but systems are what actually get you there. A goal might be to lose 2 stone. A system is going to the gym 3 times per week and preparing healthy meals on Sundays. Here's why systems trump goals every time. Goals are binary. You either achieve them or you don't. Systems are ongoing. Even if you have a rubbish week where you only make it to the gym once instead of 3 times, you're still operating within your system. You haven't failed, you've just had a below-average week. Moreover, systems focus on process rather than outcome. When you focus on the process, showing up consistently, doing the work, the outcomes tend to take care of themselves. When you focus solely on outcomes, you often neglect the very processes that would get you there. Design your systems to be sustainable. They should fit into your life as it actually is, not as you wish it were. If you're not a morning person, don't build a system that requires you to spring out of bed at dawn. Work with your natural tendencies, not against them. Your environment shapes your behavior far more than you realize. If you want to eat healthier, the most effective strategy isn't to rely on willpower when you're hungry and tired. It's to not have junk food in your house in the first place. This principle applies to every area where you want more discipline. Want to read more? Put books everywhere, next to your bed, in your car, in your bag. Remove the friction between you and the behavior you want to encourage. Want to exercise more? Lay out your workout clothes the night before. Join a gym that's on your route to work, not one that requires a special trip. The easier you make the right choice, the more likely you are to make it consistently. Equally important is removing temptations. If you're trying to focus on work, put your phone in another room. If you're trying to eat better, don't walk down the biscuit aisle at the supermarket. Don't rely on your future self to make the right choice when faced with temptation. Design your environment so the temptation isn't there.
Here's a simple but powerful rule. Never allow yourself to go 2 days in a row without doing your disciplined behavior. Miss one day? Fair enough. Life happens. But never miss twice in a row. This rule prevents the all or nothing thinking that destroys most people's discipline. When you miss a day of exercise or healthy eating, the tendency is to think, well, I've blown it now. Might as well start again Monday. The 2-day rule keeps you connected to your system, even when you're not perfect. Consistency trumps intensity every single time. It's better to do 10 minutes of something every day than 2 hours once a week. The daily repetition is what builds the neural pathways that make discipline automatic.
Discipline becomes infinitely easier when you're crystal clear about why you're doing something. Not surface-level reasons, but deep, emotional ones that connect to your values and identity. If you want to get fit, dig deeper than, I want to look good. Why do you want to look good? Perhaps it's because you want to feel confident in your own skin, or because you want to have energy to play with your children, or because taking care of your body is an expression of self-respect. When you connect your disciplined behaviors to your deeper values, you transform the narrative from I have to do this to I choose to do this because it aligns with who I am and what I value. Write down your why. Make it specific and emotional. Refer back to it when motivation wanes, because it will wane. Motivation is fleeting, but a strong why provides steady fuel for disciplined action.
Perhaps the most powerful lever for developing discipline is identity change. Instead of trying to force yourself to do disciplined things, focus on becoming a disciplined person. Instead of, I'm trying to write a book, think, I'm a writer who writes every day. This might seem like mere semantics, but it's profound. When something becomes part of your identity, you do it automatically. You don't have to force yourself to brush your teeth because you're someone who maintains good hygiene. You don't have to force yourself to feed your pet because you're a responsible pet owner. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you want to become. Each time you choose the disciplined option, you're casting a vote for being a disciplined person. Each time you follow through on a commitment to yourself, you're reinforcing the identity of someone who keeps their word. Let's be realistic. You will face setbacks. You'll have days when you don't feel like doing the work. You'll have weeks when life throws you curveballs that disrupt your systems. This isn't failure, it's being human. The key is to expect these setbacks and have a plan for them. When you inevitably miss a day or fall off track, resist the urge to abandon everything. Instead, ask yourself, what's the smallest thing I can do right now to get back on track? Sometimes the answer might be to do just 10% of what you normally would. That's fine. The goal isn't perfection, it's maintaining the connection to your disciplined identity even when circumstances aren't ideal. Remember, the path of discipline isn't linear. It's more like a spiral staircase. You might feel like you're going in circles sometimes, but you're actually moving upward with each revolution.
Here's what makes all this worthwhile. Small, consistent disciplines compound over time in ways that are genuinely life-changing. Reading 1 page per day doesn't seem like much, but it's 365 pages per year. That's more than most people read in several years. Doing 5 push-ups every morning might seem trivial, but it's 1,825 push-ups per year, plus the strength, habit, and confidence that comes with following through on your commitments daily. The magic isn't in any single action, it's in the cumulative effect of showing up consistently over time. Discipline isn't just about achieving specific goals, it's about becoming the sort of person who does what they say they'll do, who takes care of themselves and their responsibilities, who can be trusted, especially by themselves.
As we wrap up, I want you to imagine yourself 1 year from now, having consistently applied these principles. You wake up naturally at a reasonable time because you've trained your sleep schedule. You move your body regularly because movement is just part of who you are. You work on meaningful projects because you've developed the discipline to do important work even when you don't feel like it. This isn't fantasy. It's the natural result of starting small, building systems, designing your environment, and consistently showing up for yourself. Your future self is counting on the choices you make today. Remember, discipline isn't about perfection or deprivation. It's about creating a life where doing the right thing becomes the easy thing. It's about building trust with yourself and becoming someone you can rely on. Start small, be consistent, and trust the process. Your disciplined life is waiting for you, one small choice at a time. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you in the next episode.